Hi, everybody. Holy crap. Okay. Very, very sorry. My hotkeys for streaming are actually the plus and minus key on the number pad. And whenever, I was typing in this expression, I actually turned off the streaming because I was using the number pad to type in the expression. So, I kept BSing for probably another 15 minutes, and I wasn't streaming. Okay, where the hell was I? Okay, I just came up with the difference between the average front right height and the splitter height. So we figured out how high that was. Okay, and we did that. And I'm going to come back and do that. You can disregard these two things. As a matter of fact, I'll just undo that. Okay, so this is where we were. All right. We have the average front right height and the center front splitter height. And let's remove all this other stuff. So we have to come back and do that. Okay, so this is essentially where we were before my noob self screwed myself out of that. Okay. So let me open up this depiction. All right. So we have the heights of each of these, and on the right heights in the front. And now that we came up with the average of those, we've actually came up with point A, all right, which is directly above the center front splitter right height sensor, okay? And so we need to figure out what C is, and this is how we're going to do it. Okay, so we're going to come back into math, and I'm going to make sure that I do this and not turn off my stinking expression, my stream again. Just a second. Hold on. I have to do this before I do this again, because I don't want to do this again. Okay. Sorry about this, everybody. I don't want that. There. Now I won't turn off my stream. At least I hope not. Yay. Okay. Cool. All right. So let's do front right height to center front splitter. And it's going to be length, because I can't believe I did that. It's so hilarious. Such a newbie. Okay, so what we're going to do is the average front right height minus center front splitter height. Okay. All the channels are valid, so we're good there. And I think this is when I came back and said this is how we add our own mass source. Okay, so when you come into this, and I'll show you that in a second, so everything's right. Okay, you click Add Expression. Okay, and then it comes up with this, what I just went through. And you can add your own sensor. You can actually invent a telemetry output. Okay, and that's what we just did. Because we need to know what C is here. We need to know what C is. So that's what we're doing. All right, so we can come over here, and we're going to add in another time distance graph, and we're going to add the expression that we just did. Okay. Okay, so there's that. All right. Now, I'm not going to resize this because I don't need this information displayed to me, because all we're using this for is to figure out what the difference is between the average front ride height and what the center front splitter ride height is. Okay. So all we're doing is that. But real quick aside, when you see up here these numbers, they weren't here before. It looked like this, okay? But a real neat shortcut key that you can do is M for Michael, and it'll bring up this information over here on the right. That is the lowest recorded output, the highest recorded output, and then the average output, okay? So we're going to use that in this, because we want to know what the average is, because we don't want to, because there's a lot of fluctuation in this number, and it should not fluctuate because everything is rigid, unless there's a little bit of flex in the suspension. I don't know how much flex they have in there, but in order to take away a lot of the variation, we're just going to go with a simple number. So 1.84 is what we're going to use. 1.84. We're going to keep that up there. We're going to go back into the maths, and this is how you edit an expression. Actually, no, we don't have to edit, because I did this whenever I wasn't talking to anybody. All right, so let's add another expression. Okay, let's do left front splitter, length and distance, inch, inch. Okay, so we're going to use right height, front left, minus 1.84. Okay, boom. And then, you guys ever seen Dude, Where's My Car? We don't need that anymore. To delete something, you just click on it anywhere, press delete, and then yes. In this case, we're not going to do that. So here we are here. So we know what the center of the middle of the splitter is doing. Go to Properties. I say right-click, Properties. Let's add a channel. And let's do left front splitter. This is a search bar, if you guys haven't been following that. Left front splitter. Gonna move that up. Remember, left is blue. Boom. All right. So now we have overlaid on the same scale as the center front splitter what the left side of the splitter is doing. Awesome. Let's go back, click on your maths again. Does this actually come up with, yeah, maths. So you click on maths. We are going to, just like we did with the front ride height averages, or the average ride heights in front and back, right click, copy, right click, paste, double click, bring it up. Right front splitter. Don't need to know what copy it is because it doesn't matter. Come down here. Instead of looking it up again, down in here, you can just, we know it's going to be R. And since it goes from red, what in God's name is that? I have no idea what you're talking to black. And it says all channels are valid. So now we have the right front splitter. You come down here, right click, Properties, add channel, right. Okay. Huh. The hell did I do? I did some. Oh, you know what? I bet you I added instead of subtracted like a fool. What did I do here? Oh! That's rear left. Front, right, Front right. That's what I did. All challenges are valid. See, that's how you can screw yourself up. There. Yay, it works. Okay, cool. All right. So, what we have now, we have created a picture of what the front splitter's doing. There. So, oh, if you didn't know what the heck I just did, I explained this whenever I was talking to nobody. But if you want to zoom in on anything, you can do it one of two ways. You can come up here to what's highlighted, see where it turns to the 2-bar thing, and you can drag. Drag. Okay, and you'll see down here where that's the highlighted portion of the track, and then it'll give you that. Or, just reset that. You can come down, double click, drag. Okay, so you have 2 ways to do it. And then you have that. Okay, so that is what your splitter is doing through the corner. As you can see, the right side is just a tad bit above the left. And as you can still see here, there's a little bit of variation between the center front splitter, the average center front splitter, and the right and left side splitters. It's actually is a little lower. That can be from any number of different things that are modeled into the sim. Flex, aerodynamic forces that are moving the body around. I have no idea. But here's the point. In the grand scheme of all the variables that result in a lap time, this less than 0.2 of a variation is not... It's immeasurable. There's no reason to sit here and grind your gears and grind your wheels in a circle for hours and hours and hours trying to get that right. Trying to get it perfect, because you're going to waste so much time and for the very little return as far as lap times on the track, it doesn't really matter. But here's something neat. If you want to know, because here's the minimums and the maximum readings. If you want to know where those occurred, just hover the mouse over it and you'll see. And it's pretty obvious right here. But the lowest you can see happened right there. There. It's probably, yeah. The lowest is there. And there. You can see. Don't know where that went. That's way at the beginning of the, it's way over here. If I move this back out just a tad, you'll see. Yeah, see, the lowest is right there. So just on corner entry is where the left side goes down a little bit. There's a bump there if you hit it going into turn 1. So that's how you create maths, and that's how you make things, and come up with new and inventive ways to see how things work. But let's go up here and do some neat stuff. And let's just say you wanted to see how these things moved and things like that. You can up here you can start the animation and it'll play all the way through. Okay? And you can see how everything moves and works and everything like that. And it doesn't look really awesome right now. But when we get over to the tires and we start using different gauges and different ways of displaying information, you'll see how it works a little bit better. Okay, so, yay. And you can speed it up, or you can slow it down. Okay? 1, and then stop. All right. Suspension velocities. I'm going through and looking for things that I can delete because you don't need it. This you don't need. Right click, delete, yes. Suspension histogram, you want it. Suspension velocities. This is pretty advanced stuff when you start coming into the velocities and frequencies of how suspensions move. It actually comes down a little bit to selecting spring packages, but we're not going to get into that. We're simply not going to get into that. All right, let's go do something cool. Tires. All right, so right here, all this stuff pretty much doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. It doesn't give us a lot of information. So what we're going to do is we're just going to delete this, and we're going to start all over. We're going to start from the beginning. And we're going to do a few things relatively quickly. Add. If you come down here, not to that, but to gauge, you can see different types of gauges that you can use, okay? I like bar and I like dial, and even steering wheel input. You can do that. Bar. Okay, so what the heck is this? All right. I'm going to show you a really neat way to look at your tire contact patch. All right. And one of the ways we're going to do that is this new version is kind of it displays things a little bit different. So sorry if it takes me a little bit. Rumble pitch. Well, that's interesting. What guy's name is that? There it. Let's look at temp. Okay. Let's see. We'll do front left, outer, inner, center. So let's just do the outer first. Okay. And we come into the properties here. Instead of doing everything and then going back and into right-clicking and properties and going back and changing everything on the fly, when you create one, you can just do all this at the same time. You just hit the properties here next to, after you select what channel you want, you can come over here and select the properties for that channel that you just did. So we want this in Kelvin, which would be hilarious. Fahrenheit. We don't need any decimal places because it becomes irrelevant. And we're going to do manual. And the max heat that we even care about, to be honest, is 300. You're going to, in the slide and stuff like that, you're going to be more than that. Let's do 350. Hell with it. Minimum, obviously it's never going to be 0. So let's just do, say, 60, because it's probably never going to be colder than 60, because in the sim you can only get the track temp down to whatever the minimum temperature, atmospheric temperature is, and I think that's like 64 or something like that. I don't know. Let's do 60 for the hell of it. Okay, so there's that. So there's the, you can see how it changed. Fahrenheit, 60 degrees to 350 degrees. We don't really need an alarm. I mean, if you want an alarm, you can, but it's really not that big of a deal. And display. Well, here, let's just do this. Okay. Well, that doesn't really show us a whole lot now, does it? So let's add a time distance graph. And you're going to use this a lot. Okay? And we're going to use distance. Okay, so that's actually the lap distance. And you can make this pretty tiny. I like to let it roll along the bottom. Okay? And then we also like our map. Oh, here's a good thing. All right, let's go do this. Instead of having to redo shit all the time, right-click, copy, right-click, paste. There you go. Okay, so there's your map. All right, cool. All right, so this is the left front tire as it goes through. And as it goes into the corner, you can see it heating up. You can see it heating up and everything like that. Yay, gee whiz, it still doesn't show us a whole hell of a lot. All right, awesome. All right, so what's this mean? Right-click, properties, and let's do where's this at? Vertical. That's what you wanted. vertical. Okay. So check this out. All right. So there's that. I'm doing this on purpose. Okay. So let's manipulate this a little bit more, because the title of this is still kind of, the default title of the channel is really long. And we don't want that. So let's take that out. We know that these are going to be temperatures, so you don't really need to type that out. So there. So there we go. Left front enter. All right. Cool. There's a lot of other stuff we can do with this. All right. So let's copy, paste. Okay. Come back over here. And all you have to do is change this to, now we need to know what the middle is. Front, left, center. Okay. And there's that. Oh, my bad. Properties. And here's something different from the other one to this one. And this actually kind of makes me a little bit perturbed, is that when you used to copy and paste, it would take all of this other information and do it. So I don't know why it didn't. So 60, 350, 350. There's that. But it did take over the other formatting, which is nice. Cynthia. Enthia. So there's that. Paste. Properties. We need a different one. So this will be the inner. Or wait, no. Yeah, we do want the inner. I screwed up on the first one. Properties. Fahrenheit. Annual. 60, 350. And that's it. Okay, so there's that. Led to the outer or the inner on this one? Outer. I just named it wrong. I suck. Cool. Is that even a word? I don't even know. Let's just do O. Let's just do O. Middle. The hell? I double clicked on that, by the way. That's why I kind of went ballistic. Display. Enter. Okay, so here's a little better depiction of the left front tire and the contact patch as it's going through the corner. So let's come down here on lap 4 when there's a little more heat built into it. So as you come down front straight, you can see it going into the corner, and you can see the temperature build up on different sections of the tire. So since the tire is cambered out with positive camber on the left front, you can see that the outer edge of the tire heats up faster. And as you go through the corner, you can see the temperature build up. And as you come out of the corner and the banking falls away, there's less compression on the car. There's less weight being exerted on the tires. And then you come back, and as you go down the back straight, you can see the tire temperatures go back before it goes into the next one. So there's that. So that's neat. So as I'm sitting here looking, and we're going to see this a little bit better whenever we look at the right side temperatures, but as the car goes down, the tire should be out, and that should actually be the coolest portion of the tire, and the outside edge of the tire should be the hottest. So hopefully the sensors are calibrated on the car, or the car, on the left front tire of outer, middle, inner, and on the right side tire, inner, middle, outer, inner, middle, outer on the right side. If this is the left side tire, bring the left side in, outer, middle, inner. So hopefully that's how it works, but it is neither here nor there. So let's copy that. Let's paste that there. Okay. Properties. We're going to look at the front right inner. And like I said, I have to change all these parameters again. None. That's fine. Manual, 60, tree fitty. There we go. Oh, sorry. We need to right front. Okay, so there's the inner of the right front. Paste. Properties. Front right center. The properties of the channel. Fahrenheit. Don't need any. Sorry. Manual. 60. JPD. Oh, and when you bring up these properties, anytime that you use this channel again, it will keep these properties. So even if you try and use them on a different page or a different worksheet, yeah, on a different worksheet, you'll have them there. OCD kicking in. Everything must be the same. Okay, so for God's sakes, I suck. Stop doing that. Still suck. Middle. Okay. And paste that again. Properties. Front right outer. The properties of this particular channel. Did I do the... Nope. There. Okay. Okay. All right. So, cool. So as we're going down into the corner here again, let's come down the front straight. You come into the corner, and then you start building up the tire pressures. But again, this looks backwards to how these tires should be. This should be very, very different. And I'm thinking that the telemetry output is a little bit off. Okay, so let's just do this. And I may be completely wrong here, but it just, the way it looks as it's going down the track, like it's not how a normal tire would work. given camber and things like that. But as I'm saying this, I'm remembering somewhere down the road or down the line where somebody explained why the tires cooled as much as they cooled. So as you may tell, I'm having second thoughts about how this all works. But the cool thing is that these are all kind of almost the same. Yeah, no, I think it was right. Yeah, I think it was right. And I'll explain how they come up with the I hate doing that. I keep double clicking when I don't mean to double click. These temperatures and why they looked weird, because I know now, looking back, that I see the reason why the temperature are different. Sorry. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm kind of rambling here for a second. The reason why all these things change temperatures, not how you would think that they would change temperatures. Coming through the corner, you can see the tire flatten out, and then as you go back, it's like, why is this hotter, the inside edge of the left front tire? Why does that still have more heat than the inside edge? And this is why. Now I remember. Okay, so when you're going through the corner, you're going down straightaway like this. You go into the corner, it squats like this, and it pulls the left front tire in to vertical, or almost vertical. And as you go back, it goes like this, right? So what you're doing is you're lifting the tire up just a little bit off the track, okay? The heat actually gets pulled back into the track, out of the tire into the track. And since this edge over here, this edge of the tire, because if you were looking at this tire from the back of the car to the front of the car, this is how it looks. Okay, so this is the inside edge of the tire, middle, and then, or the outside edge of the tire, middle, and then the inner. This is such as that. Okay, so this portion of the tire is in greater contact with the ground than this portion. So more heat is being pulled out of this portion of the tire than this portion of the tire, and that's why it's that way. Okay, I knew I wasn't crazy. That was my fiance. I'm probably going to get yelled at. Okay, so as you see, going through the corner, you know, you see the tire temperatures start to even out, and that's kind of what you want. That's exactly how you want to do that. You can do that with the rear tires too, and we can get off to that. But so that's how you would make your tire one, and you can come down here. You can add, well, I'm just say paste properties, and then you can do the rear tires too, the exact same way. Rear left outer. And you can go through this whole process again, okay? It's the same thing over and over again. Manual 60 cheapity. Okay? So, and then there's that. All right? So, and then I would go and make all of those. Now, let's make another depiction of these. Let's utilize the tire information and depict it in a different way where we can ascertain a different type of performance out of the car, all right? So, real quick, I'm going to switch this over, and I'm going to do this to the right side tires, okay? We're going to change this over to the right rear inner, okay? And just bear with me because I'm going to do this for a purpose. I'm going to show you something really neat. Okay, so that's the right rear inner. Right rear center. And if you guys are sitting here going, holy Jesus, this takes for frickin' ever, it does. And like I always say, you do a lot of work up front for a lot of return later on down the road. Okay? This is going to save you so much time if you just invest this effort up into the front. And what I also may do is I just may link to this. Just throw it up on a Google Drive and just link to it. And that way, you know, you guys can, you got something to work with and putter along with and continue to develop your own instead of going through from scratch, even though I highly suggest going through scratch. Okay, so here we have these going through the corners and things like that. Right rear inner, middle, outer. They're actually pretty cold. The tires are very cold. I'm not going to get sucked into that. Why are they cold? All right, so here we go. So you got this, the picture of the right side tire, right front. This is the picture of the left, the right rear contact patch. All right. Let's see how the car is balanced going through the corner. Okay, cool. How do you see how the car is balanced going through the corner or not? You can see in iRacing, if I don't keep screwing it up, you can see, obviously, the right front is hotter than the right rear. And just so you know, this is carcass temperatures, okay? Carcass temperatures, deep inside the tire. Well, not deep inside the tire, but it's not the surface of the tire, okay? So that's carcass temperatures, surface temperatures, okay? Like if you took one of those laser temperature thermometer guns and shot it at the surface of the tire, that's what this is, okay? So they're different. And I will go into that more in the tire tutorial. But at any rate, let's just see in real time how much the tires are working in real time. And it's really, can you see that? Yeah, I guess you can see it here. You can obviously see that 170, 131, and things like that. But let's do something cool. Let's go back up to maths. Okay, so here's everything that we've done so far. We're going to add an expression. Okay, and we're going to do caps lock. Right front temperature. Okay. Temperature. Not Kelvin because we're not going to space. And then parentheses. Temperatures. Temperature. Okay. Front right. It doesn't matter what order these are in. Oops. Okay. So we're going to take the average of these. Okay, so front right center, inner, outer. And for some reason that, what was that? Yeah, it's Bush. That commercial pops in my head with the dude singing his campfire song. Are you an innie or an outie? What do you got? Okay. So we have 3 variables here. So divided by 3, and that'll give us our average. Okay. So you can come down, add another gauge, and do bar. Well, you know what? We don't need to do that way. Copy, paste. Okay. Properties. And you can also, I guess, you know what? This is how you get it to copy from one to another. This is the channel properties. This is this display property. So that's how you get it to do that. It's been a long time since I fooled around with that. So do it like that, and then everything will stay the same. Boom. I really wish that they would give you an alignment for the fonts. I mean, I guess you really can. You can come down here to font, and you can make it smaller if you want, you know, but it doesn't really do a whole hell of a lot. So let's just do that. All right, right front temp. Cool. So now you have the average of all that. Okay, so let me get into a different aspect. Let me do it like this first, though. I'm sorry, copy, paste. See how I copied the format for that? And now we're going to do right rear. But we haven't created that channel yet, so we have to go do that. So maths, right front temp. I'm going to work smarter, not harder. Copy and paste. Right rear. And then we can come down here and go rear, rear, rear. Right rear, everything's good. Cool. There, right rear. Boom. And there it is, right rear temp. Sweet. Okay, here we go. So you can see the average. So you can see the front of the car is working harder than the rear of the car. Okay, awesome. There's optimal tire temperatures, just like there's optimal tire pressures. And let's do that. So let's make a, we can copy this again. We can paste this again. And copy and paste is awesome because it uses a lot less effort. So let's just do tire pressures front right. This is the hot tire pressure. So you can come down here to manual scale, and you can change it, and that's what we were going to do. So the right side tires, they start off at like 50, no, let's do 40 PSI, and then let's do, I know you don't really get more than 80 PSI, but I think you can really squeak it up to 70 if you really want it to, but there's really no reason to. But just for grins, we'll do it like this. So the unit for the tire pressures can be in just about anything, and PSI. And I do use 2 decimal places for that. Auto, manual, and what the hell did I say before? 40 and 80, I think. Not that that matters, but that's just so that any further use of that particular channel uses those parameters that I just set. Okay, so there's the right front pressure. Damn you, caps lock. Okay, so this is right front pressure. Okay, cool. Yay. All right, cool. There's an optimum pressure range, right? We know that there is. So when you sit down and you go to these tracks and you figure out the optimal tire pressure, hot tire pressure range, you can come in here at a glance. So you can come in here and configure this channel. Not this channel, I'm sorry, but this particular gauge. And you can configure it so you can see at a glance where you are is in relationship to your, am I still streaming? Yay, still streaming. I haven't screwed it up yet. That's iRacing. That's not what we want. You can configure it so you can see at a glance where you are in reference to your optimal tire pressure. So it's been a while since I did that, but this is how you do it. You don't want the actual bar to change colors. What you want is you want the actual outline of it to change. So we're going to do the boundaries. You could use the channel fault limit like here. That's what they're talking about, and we're not going to do that. We're going to make our own. So we're going to add, let me bring this over here so I can see. We're going to add the lower limit to the gauge here. So let's just, for sake of argument, it's like I said, it's been a long time since I've worked with the Gen 6 car. It's been a long time since I've worked with this tire model on this car. I don't know what the optimal tire pressure is. So I'm going to guess just for illustration's purposes. Let's just say it's 62. Okay, it goes from, say, let's do this, 60 to 65 or 70 for grins. Okay, and we want to make this the good place. My girlfriend or fiance watches that show all the time. The Good Place. Okay, so we can make that color band. Boom. There's your color range. Okay, so you can tell where you're at. Do this from the outlap all the way up. So you can see the pressure here build up until you get into your hot pressure range. Okay, I mean, if you want to, you can apply that color to the bar. I mean, yeah, you can do that perfectly fine too. But the bar doesn't tell you. Well, I guess it could, but I'll show you here in a second. So like you could do it like that if you really want. But it doesn't tell you like where you, like how close you are. You know what I'm saying? Like all you know is like blue, it's cold. You know, oh, now it's green. But it doesn't tell you like where you are in relationship to like, hey, how close am I? How over am I? All right, so you can do that. But you can come back down here and you can add. Let's do a cold one. Like, all right, you're still relatively cold. So let's just do sort of cold. And we see the lower side is 60, so let's do 59.99. And the lower limit is, say, 58.00. Okay? So now you're kind of cold. Then you can add, all right, you're kind of getting too hot. All right? So we can do the lower limit of this would be 70.01, and the upper limit be, whatever the hell you did, 80, 100, doesn't matter what the hell you put it at. Okay? And then you can add in even like a holy crap one, where it's 80.01, and the top one is, 100. It doesn't matter. But you can come back, and if you want to see how that works, do that to 100. So the skill actually goes above 80. So there, you can see like down here, now you can see where you're at in relationship to your pressure zones. Like, okay, this is really low pressure, almost. There's your green zone. There's oh crap, we're a little too high, and then holy shit, we're gonna blow. And on that fun Las Vegas way. So the cold, hey, sort of there. Yay, we're there. Okay, so that's how that works out. All right, so that's that. And that is, honest to God, all that you really need to know to get into telemetry and different things like that. And you can go into brakes and things, and brake temperature rainbow. Like you don't hit the brakes. So we haven't hit the brakes. Is this temperature? I don't know exactly what this is looking at. Oh yeah, there's no brake temperature, which is nice. But let's just for example say brake pedal position. Okay, brake pedal position, brake raw. I do believe that is all exactly the same. So we can go in and we can look at it like this. Okay, so what the heck is all this? If you want to see how hard you're hitting the brakes, like especially like on a road course, you can see your max braking and your trail braking depicted right here. Okay, so like this is the in lap. You can see where we started coming in and coming into the pits. Like we started hit the brakes, max braking, trail braking, trail braking. So like you can even see as we started going, you can see where you're braking at and your trail brake and things like that. So like if you want to work on your braking technique, you know, you can do that. Or like I said earlier, like if you have a group of friends or a group of teammates and you want to compare your throttle traces and your brake traces and your different things like that, you can do that. All you have to do is just share all these files with one another. You can just rename them anything you want. So like if I wanted to rename this, just saying, let me bring this over, my pictures library. So let's go to my documents. Let's go to iRacing. Let's go to Telemetry. Okay. If you wanted to look at this, you can like copy it and then just rename it. It probably won't let me rename this one. But you can rename it. Okay. And then like Scott Stint 5 at Coda or whatever. But you know, you can do that too. But let's, believe it or not, let's just take a look at this. How it looks like on a road course. All right. Because it's actually pretty neat. Okay, so here's Coda. All right. And you can see all the braking zones, all the max braking zones, right? So like if you really wanted to get into it, oh, they don't rescale the map. I thought they rescaled the map. They don't. Oh well. So you can do that. I don't know why this is here, but there's two different whatchamacalls here. I don't know. You have to get back into it. But so like you can do the, you know, throttle too. You can do throttle traces. Throttle position. You know, so you can see like where you're wide on throttle or not, you know. And when you're off the throttle, like where you're coasting the car and things. So like there's so much you can do with telemetry. So and then like I said, it later on down the road, it makes things a whole heck of a lot easier. So oh, I'm sorry. I almost forgot a whole bunch of stuff. So if you come over here to the data side of the house, this little tab, you can see all your different stuff. So we're going to eliminate that. Okay, so here we are back at Charlotte run, okay? So here we are back at Charlotte. And we see that through the corner, we are, I almost forgot the most important thing of using telemetry is comparing different testing sessions. Okay, so here we are. Lap 4. We're kind of level, we're kind of not level. So let's go do another run. Okay? So here we are. And we know that the left side is just a tad bit low. But we're going to leave it there because it's scraping and we know as the fuel burns off. But the right side is still a little bit high. And the question is, do we want to use packers to lower the car, or do we just want a little more squat? Okay? Because we're going to be riding on the spring, on the shock spring, because like you said. So let's see what that does. So we already get 4 thousandths of a ride height change. So we know we're going to be lower. But you know how we were also pushing? If we eliminate 2,000 pounds of spring pressure on that side of the car whenever we go through, we may actually improve the handling a little bit. All right, so let's see what we're going to do. So I'm going to come back over here, re-enable iRacing. I'm going to come back and make my screen full screen again. Let's go for another test drive. do believe we're on a splitter. Just a second. This is freaking me out with this whole clutch thing. I'm going to see if I can't recalibrate it. Sorry. Just bear with me. Okay. This is fine on all my other cars that I had to recalibrate. So let's just see. Okay. That probably helped. Okay, one more time for the cheap seats. There we go. It's not as bad anymore. I gotta get ready for the IndyCar race at Las Vegas. Hopefully there's some more people practicing, because I need to see what the car is going to do in the track. Last time I was here, the cars, it felt good in solo, but in traffic it was just evil. So much grip. So I'll be streaming that race later on. It comes at 4 o'clock Eastern time. So it's about 2 hours from now. So the actual lap time went down, so I'm going to assume that we're probably even more on the splitter than we were before. We're a little less on that. But at any rate, that's not the purpose of this. It's not a setup session. Okay, now let's go look. We took 2,000 pounds off of that right front bump spring. So cool. So let's load up the next one, and you can tell which ones are loaded. Okay, because it has a little check mark. That's the one that was loaded. This is the one that isn't loaded. So let's add that one, and you can see how different it is. You see, like, so it's more flat going through the corners, but it's also higher. So that probably let the left side, think of it like a seesaw. You allowed the right side to come down a little more, and it's not like, it doesn't come down like if this is the left side, it doesn't come down and then teeter like this. It actually teeters in the middle because of how the center of gravity is. And so it'll pull up the left side too a little bit. So this is what I would do. We're still pushing, so I would lower the left side bump spring. I will lower that down a little bit because I don't know how much is that. 1.813 minus 0.75. I mean, that's 0.06 of an inch as far as the Packers go. So we may be able to get that down, but I'm not getting into that because I have other things to work on. Nope, that's not what I want. There. Cool. But at any rate, so that's that. So that's how you can compare the two. And where is the options for this? Tools, options. Okay. Colors. Okay. The background is black. I don't like that. Just because it's hard to see exactly what's all going on here. Okay, so I would change it. Nope. Okay, hey, that's a little bit different. Tools, options. Because I want to show you how you can overlay two runs together. So, sorry, I actually like the background black. I think it's looks pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, that's good. Is that data area background? I wonder if this is it. Sorry, I've never had to mess around with this before. So it's going to be a little bit of trial and error. Let's see what that does. Yeah, okay, cool. And you can change this as much as you want, but here's another very important thing that you can do. Okay, you can change between both of these runs, okay? But what if you want to do like one on top of another? So you see these little boxes back here? You can click on that, and then it'll actually overlay the old information. You put the new information over the old information, and you're really going to have to. I'm really going to have to go back and adjust all the colors and stuff because it is hard to see. But you can see they're kind of grayed out here. So you can see like if it was a major change, just how major of a change it was. You know, like so if we were like super off on the ride heights and the splitter height, you can pull up using these selections here, these check boxes. You can see exactly where you are and how much of a change you made. So, you know, that's pretty neat. But okay, so that really is the basics of telemetry. Okay, so I hope that you stuck around for the second half of this. I'm gonna have to go back and rename them, part 1, part 2. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you subscribed. I hope this gives you a little more information and it, you know, sheds a little more knowledge and light on telemetry and how it works and why we enjoy using it so much and really my ultimate goal with this channel is to expose people who may have been very apprehensive on different aspects of the sim to not worry about whether or not it's too difficult, because most of the time it's not. Like I said, this is real basic stuff, and you know, I showed you how to one of the most important aspects of a NASCAR car. I showed you how to figure it out, you know, and once you do that, and hell, you can go back, pause this, copy and paste it into your maths whenever you load up your own telemetry Motec program, and boom, there you have it. You know, so, and then from that, like I said, in the forums, okay, let's go check out these forums here. I think I'm still on iRacing. And I just did the exact same thing again. Okay, I'm sorry. I was talking and it was gone. Okay, so here is the last run that we did, and here's how you can overlay it like I was talking about. Here's that checkbox, because here's the 205, 1156. That's the old run. That's the new run. Here's the old run that we did, and you can click which one's active with these rows, these red ones, or you can come over here and you can select that. See, it has a little O in it now, and that will overlay. You can see I have to adjust the colors like I was saying, but you can overlay the new over the old, and you can see just exactly how much of a change you actually had between one run and another. Okay, so yeah, there's that. So that is about it. So I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you guys learned a little something. And I was going to go to the forums. Actually, I think we're already at the forums. Telemetry discussion forums. Okay. Telemetry quick start. Different stuff about reading, different reading materials and things like that. You can come in and you can look at all these different things, and you can add, or you can come in and look at all these, like Pete Chamberlain, like he has a couple workbooks on here that are very, 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 very good, and you can come in here and ask your questions and things like that, and call her a day, and get stuff answered. And that's by that. So, all right, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna start getting prepped up for this IndyCar race. It's coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern, and hopefully do a little bit better than I did last week. I don't know what happened at Long Beach. I don't know if I got hit in the rear end just enough to screw up the differential or something like that, but the handling was off for the rest of the race after like the second lap. But at any rate, okay, subscribe. I hope this helped you out. I didn't really see anybody asking any questions, so good. All right. So I hope it helps. All right. Stay tuned for more tutorials and more in-depth stuff. And all right, I'll see you guys around. Y'all take care.